So one more thing, this is fiscal policy, right? It involves a budget also. So budget, one thing is zero based budget. Usually the conventional thing, what will one government do? Okay, in the traditional budget, okay, say traditional budget. So it is based on previous budget. So based on previous budget. So last year one will make budget like, see, for MG Narega last year you had given 100 crores. This year you can give 150 crore because people need money, like that one can go. Okay, that is a traditional. But what is zero budget? Start from the scratch. Start from the zero. Okay, so it is going to estimate. So zero based budgeting, it is critically examining, um, okay, what the various programs, okay, and started a new budget. Okay, they deals with the, see, this year one new program is coming. Okay, this much of people is there, this much of people are the beneficiary, so you can give this much of amount. Starts from the zero base, right? So that is known as, this is concept zero base. If you know what is zero base, that is zero base budgeting. That's it. Then another thing is small savings. We need to know. Okay, because government is borrowing from small savings also. Okay, what are small savings? Say particularly mostly with the post offices. Okay, you may doubt like who are saving this, because mostly in rural areas. Okay, because there the basic assumption is, my assumption is, so most of the four post offices, say out of 1.5 lakh, I think 1.2 lakh of post, not exactly. So is with, there is more post offices in rural area. Okay, not only post office, the term deposit. Okay, time deposit. Then national small saving scheme. Okay, small saving scheme for what? If you national small saving income scheme, this is with the public, right? So if you want to know about national small saving scheme, public accounts of India. Okay, this one who earns small, okay, putting money into this year on year. This is for the long term small money. This small is for small money. Okay, so long term, if you are earning, if you are giving some 100 rupees or 200 rupees for this, monthly, that comes under public account of India. Okay, so yes, and this is administered by Department of Economic Affairs, which means what? Central government. Okay, administered by central government. So the small savings involves this, right? And all the small savings, not only this, okay, small savings, it is managed by central government. Okay, but it can give to state government, that is, it is mobilized by state government. State government receiving it as loans. Okay, say central government, if you are paying 100 rupees, okay, central government will give you 1% interest. Say in monthly your say if you are paying 100 rupees, the next month it will be 101 rupees. Okay, how will center can sustain? It is giving this money as loan to state government. Okay, at interest rate 2 percentage. Okay, so state government need to give 1 or 2 rupees. By the way, it's a kind of business, right? You are getting it right. So yes, so as a loans, right? Okay, actually earlier every state, it is mandatory for every states to purchase, to borrow through this small saving, but after that it has freed the states. So now it is only 4 states need to mandatorily borrow from the small savings. Okay, what are the 4 states? You can check it. I think Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Goa, and I think one more is Tripura. You can check this. Okay, so only for the 4 states. So why it is government is buying from this? How long it depends on RBI? Other than RBI, it reduces that RBI. Okay, dependence on RBI. Then budget reforms. Dealing with the budget. Okay, what are the recent reforms? I think everyone is aware of this. Okay, so first it is usually budget in the last week of February, but this now it started with the February 1 itself. One additional information, they have made a Sankaracharya committee. okay, to see the effect of the calendar of budget. What is the terms of reference? What are the terms given to this? It's like, what if the budget is released in February 1, January 1, like that. Okay, that committee is known as Shankaracharya committee. Then second thing, in I know that the railway budget earlier 1924 by Ackworth committee, I know the budget and railway budget are separated. Okay, because then railways consumed much expenditure, but now it is not much expenditure, right? Why can we do the same again? So they just merged. Okay, then next one is plan and the non-plan, done away. Okay, it is removed, which means what? Why it is removed? If you want to know extra information, I don't want to load you with information. If you want to know, I already told you, right? There is something called revenue account, there is capital account, right? So if you say plan, what is the plan, what is non-plan? If you are already giving, you need now to plan it, right? So say for administrative expenditure, salary, these are all non-planned. Okay, this have some, if you crisscross with that planned and not planned with that revenue and the capital, because capital not only includes infrastructure, that human capital is also included. Okay, so that is the reason. And also popular perception, since perception, what happened is government is only maintaining the asset from the revenue, okay, the revenue account, okay, and more on maintaining that and less on creating the asset. So these are the thing, what you say, that why they have abolished this planned and non-planned revenue. Okay, non-planned method. Then one more thing is, this is one common question. Okay, whether state can borrow from external sources. Okay, so we have article 293. Okay, in that I think 3, it is dealing with the state which have the any debt with the central government. Okay, need to get permission from the central government, which means what? The central government should be the intermediary if the government needs to buy from the external sector. Okay, then let's see, one more thing is public debt. What is public debt? Whatever the debt of government of India, okay, against the consolidated fund of India, and also other liabilities, okay, or the public debt. Okay, so which means what? Other liabilities, you can say this is against borrowing. It can be both inside the country through to RBI, to market. Okay, then outside you can multilateral, bilateral. I will tell you the external debt, whatever it is. Okay, then other liabilities, what it includes, already I told you, no, that small saving schemes, that provident fund, whatever the other already people are saving. Government needs to see whatever the loans you have, whatever the money you have, that is considered as liability. Okay, because you need to pay interest for that. So the loans, taking the loans are your liability. Okay, and this is basic. And the thing is external debt. Okay, whether private players can go for external debt? Yes, they can go. Say for what are the external debts are? One report is there, India's external debt, a status report. Who is releasing this? Department of Economic Affairs. Of course, it's under Ministry of Finance. Okay, so India's external debt. External means what? External guys are giving loan to us. Multilateral, bilateral, say IMF. Okay, then one more thing, export credit. You are giving export credit, right? Listen this video 2-3 times, you will understand everything clearly. Okay, then whatever commercial borrowing. Then after that you can say NRI deposits. If they are depositing in dollars, say other money, that is some external, right? So include the rupee debt. Okay, And even the NRI rupee debt also, sorry, rupee deposit. If they are depositing in rupees, so if we are external source, means what, it is coming from external source, right? Then one more thing to be remember is this is a concept kind. So in the external debt, actually government owes only 21 percentage. You know that non-government is actually 78 percentage. This is one and this is two. Similar, you know, most of the debt, say 48 percentage are dollar denominated. Okay, US dollar denominated. Then 37 percentage are rupees denominated. Okay, then third goes to 5.7 percentage goes to SDR. This is with IMF. You will deal it in separate chapter. Okay, so another one is, so why they are buying? What is the most goes for? Number one, it is goes for commercial borrowing. Number two, it is NRI deposits. Okay. Number three, multilateral debt. Okay. Then one more thing. See, in the external, one thing is some debt to economy is valuation effect. What is valuation effect? Okay, see, the you know that the share value changes, so dollar fluctuates, right? If the debt is like this, and if there is any fluctuation in US dollar, okay, the value of the debt changes. That is known as valuation effect. Then we have one concept. You may ask, what is a rupee debt? Okay, see, if it is foreign currency denominated, if your debt is say $5, that is from external commercial borrowing. Okay, so if it is a rupee debt, okay, if it is external commercial borrowing, it affects the borrower. Okay, say for this is country wise, but take for example, you are borrowing. Okay, say country is borrowing. Okay, from the dollar. Okay, so borrower is affected any changes in fluctuation, but in the it is rupee denominated, right? So the currency risk is borne by the creditor. Creditor, you can say currency risk. Creditor is one who gives you money. Okay, the borrower can be escaped by currency fluctuation if it is denominated in rupees. Okay, say for example, if rupee appreciates, creditor gains. If rupees depreciates, creditor loses. Okay, so why I have told you, actually India had taken some 3 times, I think, from this rupee debt. Initially USSR some years ago helped us. That is what USSR given us debt which is given us loan which is denominated from Indian rupees. Okay, some goodwill. Then next after that NRI deposits. Then not one time. Then after that, rupee debt. This say the foreign portfolio investors. Okay, if they are investing in treasury bills, which is it is issued by government. Okay, it is denominated in rupees, right? But it involves a foreigner. So that is what rupee denominated debt. So rupees debt you can call. So this is external debt. What is internal debt? Loan raised by the government in open market. Okay, open market and other liabilities, as I told you earlier. This is open market is what through bonds to treasury bills, and this is government is taken from NSSF, National Small Saving Provident Fund, and others. So one more thing, sovereign debt crisis. As I just discussed that external debt, right? Sovereign debt crisis. We have say one country recently, actually this is in news because Greece affected by this. What happened is external debt had mounted. Okay, so that is the reason for sovereign. It couldn't be able to pay back. Okay, that's why every country has that for external money. You can say money in dollars. Then because the problem associated with is sovereign debt crisis, if it is internal debt, you have options, right? What are the options? You can go for borrowing, or you can print the currency. But if you have this debt in external, say in dollars, how can you print the dollar? Okay, that is not sustainable or feasible, right? So that is the reason for sovereign debt crisis. So one need to know masala bond. Okay, masala bond, man, this is often in news, and yes, anytime high question this is. So as I told you earlier, why I told you that a rupee denominated bond is by external commercial borrowing. Say if the country want, it borrows, right, from external sources. But here, okay, say Indian company, okay, Indian company issuing a bonds, okay, to whom? In rupees, okay, to any international financial institutions. In state PACS, they ask like which Indian company given first. The answer is NTPC, National Thermal Power Corporation, Thermal Power Corporation, and institute which is the first financial institution. Okay, like that. Say now it is London Stock Exchange. Okay, London Stock Exchange, the masala bonds, okay, are invested. Okay, um, so the investors, okay, are buying from this. Okay, are buying from this. Say Indian company is giving for rupees, but it is going for example dollar. Okay, so say dollar. So this investor is buying from this in dollar. Okay, buying, and he is paying the interest. Okay, to him in dollar. Okay, so here it is the transaction. In the nutshell, the transaction between them is the interest and the loan. Um, sorry, the stock is in dollars or foreign currency, but when it goes to again giving back to Indian company, it is giving in rupees. So what it is? So here it is external currency, here it is Indian rupees, right? So this financial institution is taking the currency risk. Okay, so that is masala bond. If you want further information, India's debt to GDP ratio is 68%. One final thing, one is fiscal drag. What is fiscal drag? Fiscal drag, if there is inflation, there is automatic stabilizer. Okay, this automatic, one of the automatic stabilizer is fiscal drag. Okay, what it is, if there is more inflation, the wage, okay, wages will rise. Okay, see more price, so the wages are rising. So after that direct tax is rising. Okay, then after that disposable income decreases. See, if the disposable income decreases, the demand has become stabilized or become less, so automatically the price will come down. So it is automatic stabilizing that stabilizing, so automatically dragging that inflation, right? So that is a fiscal drag. Fiscal drag is automatic stabilizer. So that's it, we dealt all the concept. This is very conceptual wise in clear cut manner. So thank you, see you next video.